Hi, I'm here with Jerome Lewis, who just had an abundance session with me yesterday. We did it in a group setting with our Jerome's mastermind group, who we're very comfortable with. So, Jerome, tell the viewers why you decided to have a hypnotherapy session for abundance.
All right. So like one of our colleagues, like you said, sometimes I can be long-winded, but I'm giving the context so people can understand.
Yeah.
And like I have a background and understanding of like spirituality. And when I think of like hypnotherapists, I kind of think about like the spirituality stuff. And typically like the kind of person I am very, like you told me on the call, you were like, Jerome, you're a little bit closed off. Like typically like that's kind of my energy, right? Which is, we talked about, and I'll talk about it a little bit later, but I'm like very controlling. Right. But I'm not controlling to the point where it's toxic. I'm just controlling. Like I want to control the situation so I don't lose control. And I'm like, I'm controlling, but I'm open to receiving other stuff. So when you came and we got the offer of your hypnotherapy, I was like, yeah, I'm open to that. Like I'll try to be as open as possible since I'm such a controlling and want to be in control man. So I was like, let me be open to other things to advance my life or get ahead. What were you like, or what was your mindset before the session?
Okay.
And so the session is like, it's brand new. And to me,
Okay.
life was like regular. I'm like normal. I'm like, I don't have any issues. Like you had brought up a thing. He was like, I don't know about people and their willpower. And I was like, I don't know. I believe in willpower. And so that was like before I dealt with you and understood. So now, like after having your hypnotherapy session, I'm like, you know what? Kennery might be right. Like there's a deeper understanding of this stuff that we're doing in life and earth. And it's like, how do you tap in your subconscious? So right now, right after that therapy session, I'm more open. I'm more understanding. I understand there's deeper things, right? And sometimes things that I don't want to say can't control, right? Because we gotta always have control, but there are other layers and other ways to experience things in life. And what I mean by that is, other people can help you, like you did. You helped me, like when you took me through, and we'll go into detail when you ask some of the later questions. But you like really helped me realize a past trauma that I thought I dealt with. And so I have a new perspective. I'm like, oh, you know what? I probably got more trauma that I'm willing to resolve. I'm more open to your methodology and other methodologies to get ahead in life.
People hear trauma and they're afraid. They don't want to face their trauma. What would you say to someone who doesn't want to face their trauma, but also thinks, what does trauma have to do with my success? I'm a serial entrepreneur. I just need to keep on going, hustle harder, gain more skills, get more discipline, more self-control, and keep plowing through it. What would you say to someone like that?
First, I would try to make sure I emphasize that trauma is not a negative thing. Like it's not a negative word. Like it's not automatically negative and evil. And just like receive the word and the definition for what it is. So trauma is just trauma. Try not to judge it. It's probably a good way to say it.
Okay.
It's just past experiences that we haven't resolved.
What does trauma have to do with success? Why can't I just go and gain more skills or hustle harder or wake up earlier?
So I think that you can do that stuff. However, it will always like to use the analogy of like running a race, right? And if you run, like you can run a race with a weight on your ankle, right? You can still run that race, but you'll get there slower than if you take the weight off of your ankle. So that's what I want people to think about when they're thinking about trauma. Like I could just work through this, right? Because I'm like that. Like even you like Jerome, you're a little bit closed off, which I was, right? But I was probably like 70% closed off, but 30% open is probably a fair way to say it. Right. Yeah. So I'm like, I'm open to it. I'm here. I'm going to try my best to like relinquish control and just be present and let this work. So I encourage others to do the same thing. Like that trauma, like releasing that trauma. I'm telling you, I was talking about it. I was talking to my friends. I was like, look, I went to, and I'm trying not to spoil it, but I was like, it really helped. And I just have like one of the things that you said during our interview was that there was a weight like lifted off your shoulders. And I've never really understood um, how much that phrase means until our experience. And I'm not a liar. Like, I don't say stuff for no reason. Like, I really mean that. It was like a weight lifted off my shoulder. It was like so much worry and stress, and even like the control, which was my central issue or my central trauma. It was like so much just gone and release because of that experience. So that's my input to people.
So how has your, after you've released the weight, how do you feel? How has your mindset shifted?
So I just feel so much more, I feel like clear, lighter,
Yeah.
happier, more capable. You like, my trauma was like, it was your fault. It wasn't much you could do about that. So I felt really powerless, and I really felt like it was my fault, even though it wasn't my fault. I was like a child, and it wasn't
You were
much I could
helpless.
do. Yeah, I
You
was
were,
helpless.
you
Yeah.
were helpless and you did the best you could. But
Yes.
at 1 year old, there's not much that we can physically do.
Exactly. And I felt like really guilty, and I just felt like a lot of like heavy emotions.
Yeah.
And I don't feel that stuff anymore because of the experience.
That's the belief that you picked up. So that was hindering you from achieving the level of success that you potentially could. And you knew what your block was. Your block was not being able to delegate and trust. And that was because of the belief, the protection that you surrounded yourself with from what you had to as a child, and bringing that into your business world, your life now as an entrepreneur. What would you say to someone who said, why should I entertain hypnosis for success, for abundance? What does that have to do with anything?
So I encourage those people to check out testimonials of others and view other people's experience and see like it like legitimately works. I'm telling you, I was talking about, I was like, I got this other accountability group, and a gentleman inside, he was like, I just got some personal stuff, and like it kind of always crops up. And I was like, well, maybe you need hypnotherapy. That's almost my answer to like everything right now. I'm like super hyper about
my answer to everything.
Yeah, because it was such a great experience. And sometimes you just hit like walls or mental blocks or whatever it is, like, more than I know. And it's like, it's not much else you can do beyond that unless you go seek help from someone else or some other process or something different.
So when you told your friend, maybe you should try hypnotherapy, when you told your other mastermind group, I mean, how did you explain what you had just gone through? And start to tell us about your experience too. So
the one friend I told, I just explained, it was like a conversation. I was like, she's like, how's your day? I'm like, my day was like this. Or I was like, I don't really care to tell you about my day. I'm gonna tell you about an experience of my day, a highlight of my day. And I went into like all of the details of our experience, and I was like, it like really worked. And I was talking about, and I'll tell like a little bit of the story, but I kind of want to save it and not spoil it. But I was like, when I first started to, like, when you first start to take us under, I guess, is it okay to say that? Is that right? Okay, yeah. When you first started, what is it?
Induction.
Okay, when you first started the induction, I was like, all right, and I was listening to some of the other, some of the other women, so two other women on the call. I was listening to them. I was like, hey, I'm gonna ace this thing. Like, I already know. I know what my trauma is. I'm not gonna be emotional about this. I got this. Watch this. And then I started to get the clear picture, right? And I was like, all right, so I got my trauma, and it's me, right? And that's why I asked her, I was like, are men harder to hypnotize, or just me? Because I'm like trying to figure stuff out and plan. I'm like trying to be in control. So I'm like, all right, I got my situation. I got my steps. I'm ready. When I'm ready, I'm ready. So I started to clarify, and I started to get my situation. And the one situation that I tried to think about, right, you encouraged us to do stairs, was a situation where I was like about 8 years old, and I was in the projects, right, in the house with my mom. And I just remember, like, those were my stairs that I started to remember. And I'm like, this is my situation. It's that situation. I don't know what the trauma is about that situation, but this is the situation. Yeah.
What was your main concern before having the session? I think it was the control, right? Letting go of control.
Yeah, it was like control. It was like, is this gonna work? I'm in control of my life, which I am, but like I have, that's my trauma. Like, how is this gonna help me? I could do it by myself. That was my biggest concern.
What was it about me choosing to work with me that helped you to open up?
So one thing about you, I appreciate, like, you're very warm and welcoming, but you're also very direct too. You're able to have, like, there's a professionalism, there's a structure, and there's a direction with you, which I appreciate.
What is your biggest takeaway from the session, or some of the biggest takeaways?
The biggest takeaway was like, man, just like the other feedback on the call, I was like, man, I thought I resolved that.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I'm not even gonna say I thought I resolved it. I just didn't know it was there.
Yeah.
Like I would always bring it up, like, in conversations. So I did kind of know it was there, but I didn't know it was like an issue for me.
Yeah.
Because it was so far back, I couldn't remember it. Like you said, you tapped in, you help us understand the importance of the subconscious. You're like, yeah, your subconscious does all of this stuff that you don't know. And I'm like, yeah, it does. Because I don't know what happened when I was 1 year old, but it's registered in my subconscious.
It is like a huge filing cabinet. So tell us how you felt in the session.
I felt relaxed, open, welcome, unjudged, and cared about.
What was your struggle with your business, your success?
I said my struggle is delegation, but deeper than the delegation is like trust and lack of control. So my struggle was like, I'm struggling in my business because I don't want to release control to people because I don't trust them.
Yeah.
That was my struggle. And I was like, all right, what can I do to fix that? I'm open to getting some help or assistance with that.
And what had you tried before to release the not being able to delegate and trust, because you don't want to be a bottleneck to your business. You want, you really wanted it to run on its own.
Yes. What I tried before, so you put me in a corner, was willpower.
Okay.
I tried willpower, and yeah.
Yeah. So give us some examples of the willpower.
So the willpower is like, I can do this. Let me try this, or let me try this. Like, just trying like little things, little exercise. Okay, I'm gonna pay this person to do this thing. I'm gonna give this person to do that thing. I'm like, I'm still peeking in, like, because I'm like controlling. I'm like, did you do that right? No, you missed that dot right there. See, this doesn't work. It doesn't work. Let me take it back on.
Why try hypnotherapy for success too? When there's, masterminds out there, there's all the books out there already. There's different groups that you can join.
I think that people, like, even if you are successful, I'm telling you, it sounds redundant, but it goes back to that race theory. Like, you can run, yes, you can win the race with the ankle weight, right? But you can win that race faster and much easier if you try it another way. If there's somebody to guide you and say, no, why don't you try this? This is the way that you should go. These are the results that other people have got, right? And it just makes the process faster, smoother, more clear.
Yeah. Okay. And after you've experienced this, this breakthrough, how much do you think it's worth to have this kind of breakthrough that, I mean, you couldn't have gotten this in a book.
No, I could not have. And you put me in a tight spot because I can't really put a number on it. It's like invaluable. Yeah. It's like invaluable. It's in the tens and thousands of dollars. Yeah. And it was only one session.
Yeah.
So the best way, and even there, I don't feel justified saying the number. Yeah. I really have to say that it's invaluable.
Okay. Thank you. What was your favorite part of the session?
The end,
Okay.
when, which I think you know, and the rest of the group know, when you said, all right, see your future self and have
Yeah.
a conversation. I really enjoyed that part. And it was like, it was just fun to like,
Yeah.
I had a conversation with myself and I could talk my language and the person not misinterpret me or not understand me. And like, sometimes I could be a little bit sarcastic or I can be interpreted as too direct or mean or something like that. And I was able to just be that way. And
Yeah.
that version of me not receive it any kind of way other than what I mean, which is like good intent.
Well, thank you so much, Jerome,
You're welcome.
for sharing with us your story. I'm looking forward to you blossoming in the future.
I am too. I appreciate you so much.
I can't wait until, a year from now when you're like, yep, I trusted and now I have all of this. Everything that was on my intake form that I filled out, my wish list, has come true because I was able to just let that one piece missing go. I had everything else, but I just let that part go. And that was the one thing holding me back. And now I have all of this now. So I can't wait till, a year from now we're doing another interview.
Me either. And just to, because it's me,
Yeah.
just so you know, I was like, I already had like visions. I'm like, oh my God. And I was like on stage and I was like, yo, I want to know why I'm successful. Cannery, she hypnotized me and she helped me get here. And like all these customers were like rushing to you. And
Yeah.
it was just a dream, but it happened. I was like, or a vision. I can't remember, but it happened. I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, I recommend Cannery because she helped me. She helped me get there. Her service, like what she did was like awesome. There's some other people out there, right? People are like, oh, who should I use? I'm like, this is the one right here. So
Thank you. That makes my
you're welcome.
heart sore because I love helping people so much. And if I could, do nothing else, I would just be in hypnosis sessions all day long, helping people uncover and remove their blocks, even things that they didn't even know, like you didn't even know that was holding you back. But you hit this plateau and you were hitting a brick wall or you just couldn't get out of your own way, but you didn't even realize that was holding you back. And that is my, dream to just sit there and do sessions all day long. And then, yeah, that's so thank you for that.
You're welcome.